Shaka Hislop alongside me, Alexis Nunes, Shaka, and this was the game that started some controversy here in England, I suppose, after Pep Guardiola told all the City fans to come out because he said they're going to need all the support they can get against Southampton, which on paper you'd be like, what is he talking about? But now, seeing the match end 0-0, Southampton, the Saints, walk away from the mighty Etihad with a point from the Premier League champions, Shaka. Just thoughts on how, I suppose, not only City managed this game or didn't manage it as well as they would have wanted to, and how Southampton managed to stand on, because we know that teams can defend deep against City, but sometimes City always find a way to break it down. So what gave today?
Listen, this is a game that started on the back pages a couple of days ago with Pep Guardiola asking for City fans to turn out, and then the head of the Supporters Association having something to say about that. And on the one hand, it's so ridiculous in its nature. On the one hand, and I'll only speak about Pep Guardiola's part in that, he felt that City looked very leggy in midweek in the Champions League against Leipzig. And he wanted the fans to be there to play their part. I think where that kind of handed some impetus to Hazelhutton and to Southampton is that it says out loud publicly that City are a little bit tired, despite how early on we are in the season. So if I'm a manager coming to the Etihad at this point, I'm saying, listen, just raise your tempo, take the game to them, and we can get something out of this. And that's exactly how it proved. And credit to Southampton. I thought they were very good value for the point. No, you said it's a game that started in controversy. It didn't end there. Southampton had a good penalty shout turned down. Initially, it was given. Then on review by the referee, who went to the sidelines, he overturned the decision. It was Kyle Walker and Armstrong. For what it's worth, and I'm being totally neutral here, I did not think it was a penalty myself either. But you can understand Southampton frustrations. If you're anybody but City, if you're one of the top four and wanting to see City drop further points, I understand your frustrations. But as a West Ham fan, and we're not going to be in that discussion come the end of the season, I didn't think it was a penalty. I thought the referee was right to overturn it. Then City's only shot on target comes in the 90th minute. Let me repeat that for those in the back. City's only shot on target at home came in the 90th minute from a Phil Foden header, brilliantly saved. And then Raheem Sterling puts in the rebound. He was offside. Oddly, I think Foden could have gotten to his own rebound and the goal would have stood and City would have been 2 points better off, 2 points that they did not deserve given how good Southampton were. So it was a game that started in controversy, as you put it, a couple of days ago, and went to controversy up to the 91st minute of this one. And in the end, I have to say, regardless of what Pep Guardiola or the City fans or the head of their fan group thinks, I thought Southampton were fully deserving of their point.
So, of course, massive credit to Southampton, but just looking a little deeper at City, because we know Pep Guardiola, we know the perfectionist that he is and how he will be looking at this game and the statistics. I mean, just looking at the final one, City 16 shots on target. And like you said, 16 shots rather, and only one of those on target. Southampton with 10, and two of those. You would never think Southampton would walk out of the Etihad with more shots on target than City. And what do you put that down to, Shaka? What's Pep Guardiola going to be thinking? And how much do we read into this being tired and leggy? Because it is still quite early on in the season. So is there cause for concern?
I think the cause for concern was recognized and sounded out this summer, which is why City wanted to spend the money that they did on Harry Kane. And while I understand City won the title last season, largely without that out-and-out number 9, given Aguero's injury history, given that Gabriel Jesus doesn't seem to be favored by Pep Guardiola, and largely he relied on that false 9 or however we want to phrase it. But he put a huge bid on the table for Harry Kane, and you see why. Because in a game where the margins are tight, not just in the top four, but we were talking about this ourselves, I feel that despite the goals and spending, I think there is a huge, there are more teams in league now that will put up firmer fights than we're used to. And with those tightening margins, you need players like Harry Kane. You need strikers who determine games. And that's what you saw today. You saw a City doing exactly as they had been doing all of last season, maybe even all of the last 2 seasons, given Aguero's own injury history, as I mentioned. But this season, they will need a bit more. You cannot be anything less than outstanding. You cannot be less than 10 out of 10 without that out-and-out striker and hope to win week in, week out. That's the difference. That's what we're seeing. That's what City are missing.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.